Whoops. I didn't hit the unpause button. I hit the end recording button. Yeah, that playlist I had on was, it was at the, it does not make for good background music. So I'm just going to get through the rest of Auldwolf's post. Below Zero is about secrets, exploration, and discovery. So was Subnautica. It is about those deep, twisty corridors, the little nooks, and the joy of movement. So was Subnautica. For that, the Seatruck is fantastic. So was the Cyclops, the Sea Moth, and the Prawn-Suit. Also, you'd be wrong to say that the Seatruck is bigger than the Sea Moth. It isn't. It's less wide. You need to see the models side by side. The new configuration allows one to slip into far narrower spaces with greater ease. That is false. As I cleverly made sure that I mentioned earlier in the first video part of this series, I mentioned the sea cabin has a T profile because of the boosters on the side of it. It is not less wide. If he really believes that, he is mistaken. The Seatruck is larger. It has a taller profile, and it has a wider profile than the Sea Moth. Simply inaccurate. So the base Seatruck is actually a little smaller than the Sea Moth if you understand its dimensions. It's not if you understand its dimensions. On top of that, it sounds like you're taking a sea train everywhere. You're doing it wrong. The Seatruck is the thinking player's vehicle. Now, again, this is the third post where he's brought up the Seatruck is a cerebral vehicle. It's the thinking man's vehicle. 200 IQ required to operate vehicle. It isn't about taking all the modules everywhere. You pick modules you need when you need them. You ferry modules between bases. It's got more of a sense of management to it. So because rather than take your Cyclops where you want and then get out and zip around with your Sea Moth, that's it. That's the extent. Cyclops goes where it goes, and then the Sea Moth goes where the Cyclops doesn't go. Okay. But according to that, let's add more steps. Instead of simply detaching the cabin of the Seatruck and zipping around, let's detach the cabin, rearrange our modules, sit here and think about what we want for what we need at that time. Let's ferry the modules around and arrange them in the order that we want it for our new mission, put them together. Then we get to do the mission. Then we have to come back to where we left the modules, rearrange them again, put the Seatruck back together. And that makes it a more intelligent vehicle. Does it sound the same way to you that it does to me? The Seatruck is agile if you think about how you're using it, aka if you detach all the modules, turning it into a slower and less effective Sea Moth. It's quite necessary to understand that, yes, you can detach modules, you can reconfigure them, you can leave modules at locations and return from them later. They have their own beacons, so you can intentionally leave certain modules around. Let me tell you why the Seatruck is better than the Cyclops by describing things that the Seatruck does that the Cyclops can do better. That's why the Seatruck is better than the Cyclops. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Spoilers in this paragraph, caveat lector. You can have more than one Seatruck and you can teleport between them. Actually, you can't. Your first fabricated teleport module that's connected to a powered Seatruck cabin, that will be your destination. If you make another one, it doesn't matter. You're going to teleport to that one. So, oops. The Cyclops is for turning your brain off and just ramming it into everything, carrying everything, and just dominating the environment. Again, dominating, buzzwords, phrases that keep coming up in his mind. The image of dominating anything bothers this guy. I'm like, Does Auldwolf have cerebral palsy? Like, is he in a chair, like using his mouth to move a stick around to type these long, angry posts? And I can't stand able-bodied people. Like, if I'm making fun of somebody with cerebral palsy, I've got a pair of flaming slippers in hell waiting for me. That's going to be the first thing I do. When I die and I get into hell, I'm like, give me my slippers. Y'all been waiting on me. I'm going to hell, guys. I'm picking on disabled people. I'm an awful person. In a way, parasitic. He called the Cyclops a parasitic vehicle because he can just run around murdering, sucking up resources, and not having to worry about much at all. Except I can do that in the Seatruck. People do that in the Seatruck. You just get in the Seatruck, and then we run around murdering Cryptosuchus and brute sharks, sucking up all the resources. Because we got a fabricator module. Give me 40 titanium. I'll compact that up into 8 titanium bars, and then I got more room for more titanium. Let me get a whole bunch of glass and compact that into, let me get a whole bunch of quartz, compact it into glass, get more quartz. Let me get a whole bunch of copper and silver, and then I'll make copper wire and wiring kits, and then I'll make compasses, and let me get more. And I'll bring 5 storage modules with me, and I'll just get all the resources. I don't have to worry about anything in my Seatruck because it's got a perimeter defense system, and I got a sleeper module that lets me sleep. And I got an aquarium module that catches fish for me, so I don't even have to leave to get fish. And I can cook those fish. And the fabricator module. It's the very same traits that he claims describes the Cyclops and why they're bad and awful. The Seatruck does the same thing. When he defends the Seatruck and claims, well, this is why the Seatruck's better, the very same points he brings up, the Cyclops does, but better. Man, let's get through this. That's the big white man power fantasy. So if you have this fantasy, if you want to be in a vehicle, if you want to not to have to worry about anything, if you want to feel safe, if you want to run around murdering and sucking up resources, you are a white supremacist. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're Indonesian, Filipino. I don't care if you're Chinese. I don't care what your ethnicity or your descent is. Whoever you are, if you enjoy doing that, that is a white man power fantasy. You're appropriating my white man power culture. Or you're enabling it. You're a bad person, according to Auldwolf. Again, I'm not going to stop. I am not going to stop covering this guy. As long as Auldwolf is going to keep making these terrible posts, as long as Unknown Worlds continues to refuse to moderate this guy, to hey, could you stop saying those evil things? To do something about it, to remove these posts. If they're not going to do anything about it, then I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to keep covering it. I'm going to keep putting this on blast. I need me a sip of coffee. I wonder if he really believes that. I wonder if he really genuinely feels Monster Hunter is closer to the original Subnautica. How do you compare Monster Hunter to Subnautica? And I'm not even asking that to the community. I'm asking this to Unknown Worlds. Did y'all feel like Subnautica 1 was anything like Monster Hunter? Did you try to encourage the player to go out and murder animals and use their hides and their bodies to be rewarded with resources? To murder animals and to be rewarded? I don't think that was Unknown World's intention. I'm going to try and wrap this up with one more video.